The head coach of the Red Raiders, and Joey McGuire is kind enough to join us right now to preview his team's season. Coach, great to have you back on the show. Thanks so much for the time, and how you been?
Appreciate you having me, man.
Well,
I'm like your soundbite said, man. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm just ready to get to Saturday and play a football game.
yeah, I can't blame you, and I just want to fast forward to Saturday. We got a little taste over the weekend in week 0, which was always good to see college football back. But there's been so much hype around your program this offseason, right? You have some old faces that come on back, a lot of new faces here. When you see this team start to form and develop and come together in the spring and in the summer, what did you really learn about your team?
That I had some really strong leaders that were coming back, like a Baron Morton and Jacob Rodriguez, Bryce Ramirez, and they really opened these, welcomed these new guys with open arms. And I think this is my 31st year, and I've never been so excited to play football because of the building, because of the locker room, because of just the way these guys really have meshed together. It's really cool to see, because it's kind of surprising, whenever you have this many new faces, how fast do they get to know each other and care about each other.
Now, I know you're a relationship coach, right? And you really value those relationships. But now we live in this world of NIL and the transfer portal. And, right, all these Power 4 conferences, they got money to spend. We saw the money that you guys spent this offseason. But when you look at the vision for Texas Tech, that's something that you still have to trust your principals, even if players are getting paid. What's the vision that you have now as you get set to enter year 4 with this program?
Yeah, I think, year 4, the guys that have been here through the, really 1 through 3, they understand what we're about and the culture that we're trying to build. We want to be a physical football team. The new guys that have come in have bought into that. And the biggest thing, people have said it, we pushed all our chips in the middle of the table. And we know how critical this year is, not just for this year, but for the future of Texas Tech football. We've had a lot of people that have got behind us, and a lot of donors helped us upgrade our roster. And so we want to make sure that we're taking care of what they've done and produce on the football field.
Yeah, and hey, we all know Rome isn't built in one day. And you guys have been that 7-8 win program the last few years, and you've been lauded for it. Why do you feel like, with the moves that you've made this offseason, in a 4th year now with you leading the charge, that this team is ready to take that next step and maybe get to double digits, maybe get to a college football playoff?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we haven't varied. We came in here from the beginning. This is what we're going to do. This is our brand. Our guys understand it. But to be honest with you, you're talking about a major upgrade in talent from every spot on the field, whether it's an O-line, adding an outside receiver and Reggie Virgil, having Caleb Douglas come back at the other outside receiver. That allowed us to move in Coy Aiken. We were able to get our quarterback back, and he's fully healthy. He hasn't been the last 2 years, and he's fully healthy now. And then on the defense side of the ball, that's what I think is the biggest thing for our team. I mean, our 2s and 3s in the defensive line, they started for us last year. And if they didn't start, they were starting at another Power 4 conference. And, there are 2s and 3s in our rotation. It was big to get Jacob Rodriguez back because he's such a leader on the defensive side of the ball. And so I think the biggest thing people are going to see, we're a lot bigger, we're a lot faster, and these guys have bought in what we're trying to do.
And the Big 12 is a really good conference. And I look at it this year, I think there's like 7 or 8 schools that could win it. And out of all the Power 4 conferences, when I had to pick a Big 12 champion, it was the one that took me the most. But I was reading an article over the weekend from CBS Sports, and they had a lot of pundits answer a bunch of questions. And in the same article, Coach, when they talked about your football team, one analyst said most underrated team in the country. Another analyst said most overrated team in the country. So I think a lot of people, they just truly don't know what to expect because there's been so much buzz this offseason with your program. But now you know, all right, that's all talk. Talk is cheap. You guys got to put it together on the field starting week 1.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. Like I had our press conference. We have our Monday press conference today, and that was the one thing that I said is like, hey, look, I'm tired of talking about, what we've done in the portal and, what is going to happen and how the pressure and all this stuff. I'm just ready to go play. And I know our players are too. We understand we're going to use everything that's going to be said about us, and I'm going to use that ESPN did not have my quarterback who had better numbers than a majority of those quarterbacks that they posted on the graphic before the K-State Iowa State game. We're going to use that. We're going to use that the analysts said we're the most overrated team. I'm worried. I'm really worried about that analyst that, I don't know how much football that person's watched. I could say we're somewhere in the middle, but saying that the number of projected NFL players off this roster is comparable to Alabama, I'm concerned about that analyst that said we're the most overrated team. We're going to use that stuff. We are not going to shy away from it. We understand that Texas Tech is not supposed to be doing what Texas Tech's doing. It's the so-called blue bloods that can pay this much money for a roster and have paid more than our roster that we have. And it's okay, man. We're gonna embrace it. The biggest thing though is we got to go out and do it on the field. Like I could talk about it, our players could talk about it till we're blue in the face. We got to go play at a really high level.
Every coach is different, and I talk to a ton of coaches as Joey McGuire is here with us. When I ask a question like what I just asked, some coaches will be like, I don't read that bull junk. Yeah, I'm not saying you read everything, but you're using that as motivation. Why do you use the critics as motivation for your program while some other coaches just pretend like they don't hear or read any of that stuff?
Well, I want to make sure my players hear it, that I believe in them. So that's number one. I mean, they're going to hear it at some point, but I was lucky enough to be on a show with Urban Meyer, who's one of the greatest college coaches of all time. And I asked him, I said, what is it? What did you do whenever you knew you had a really good team? And he said, I pissed him off every chance I got. I used every part. He said, there was times I made stuff up. He said, I wanted an angry team on Saturday. And so I'm going to take that advice, and we're going to use anything we can use that people are saying against us to make sure we have an edge when we go out on Saturday and we play with.
Joey McGuire here with us, the head football coach at Texas Tech. I went to Temple, so I'm a Matt Rule guy, and I know Matt very well. And I know that you had a very legendary high school career, but I'm a New Yorker coach, so I first became familiar with you when you joined Matt's staff. Take me back all those years ago while you said, okay, I'm going to leave the high school game where you had a great job and you were having a lot of success, and why you wanted to embark on this journey and what was an unknown entering the college football world for you.
Well, I say it all the time. I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't go work for Matt Rule. We were, we're still really close. I mean, I've probably talked to him at least through text every day the last week. We were texting on Saturday night. We were watching different games. When I talked to him and he was talking about interviewing me, there was just this kindred spirit about football, about what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be played. And I'll never forget, my wife said that morning I went to interview, she goes, why are you doing this? You're never going to leave Cedar Hill. And I said, there's something about this dude. I want to go find out. And the reason I say I wouldn't be sitting here is because there's a lot of head coaches that wouldn't pour into their assistants the way he poured into me. And that's one thing I'm trying to do for my assistants. I was so fired up that Zach Kitley got a head coaching job, and I want to hire guys that want to be head coaches, and I want to help them, reach their goals. That was one thing with Coach Rule, man. He was so awesome with me, and man, I can't thank him enough. I can't wait to watch them play. We're going to get to watch them since they play earlier than us, a couple of days before us. So I can't wait to watch them play Cincinnati.
But when you left high school and you became a tight ends coach at Baylor, did you have that goal in some time you want to be a head coach on the college level? Because now you get ready to embark on what is your fourth season being a head coach at Texas Tech.
I definitely thought about it. I was sitting there like, and this is where I thank Matt so much. I thought that it would take, 10 plus years or even longer. And then you're sitting there going, okay, well, how old are you? Are they going to take a chance on an older guy? I always tell everybody I got more energy than anybody else in the country. I'm just telling you, ask my players, I don't care how old you are, how young you are. I'm going to be the same dude. And I'm always fired up. But that came into account of like, okay, do I have enough years to get the experience in college where I'll still have a shot? And he fast forwarded my career so fast because of the things that he taught me. I was ready to go into interviews and get people to understand that I could be a head coach.
And it wasn't just Matt. I'll tell you, there was other guys on that staff. I remember talking to Sean Patton, and very early on, Sean was raving about the way that you quickly adjusted and the resource they were using at Baylor, going from a high school coach to a college coach. Now, as we move forward into the year of 2025, wrapping up with Joey McGuire, the head football coach at Texas Tech, here with us on the Zach Gelb Show. You talked about your quarterback. You said how he needs to be healthy. We saw what he could do last year when Baron Morton's had a full go. What is he as a quarterback in your estimation?
Man, he's a guy that brings a lot of energy. He loves playing the game. He's a tough guy. I mean, he's kind of the ultimate tough guy. He gets that from his dad. His dad was a high school coach, but his dad's one of those guys that, this is how you play the game. Where I've seen the biggest growth is how much he spends time in the building, really getting ready for a game mentally. He did a great job last year, I think, of protecting the football. We got to continue to do that. But he's got some serious arm talent, and his shoulder's healthy now, and you can really see it right now in practice. The ball jumps out of his hands like it did whenever I recruited him out of high school and didn't win that recruiting battle. He ended up coming to Tech instead of Baylor. I'm just glad he was here whenever I got here. And he's going to have a special year for us.
I know last week I was reading that Quinton Joyner is going to be out for the season, one of your talented running backs with a knee injury. How about the depth and how about the rest of the pieces now in that room they're going to be asked to help out your quarterback when it comes to running the football?
Yeah, I hate that, because anytime you lose a kid, for the year, they put so much time into this. I mean, this is a people were talking about their student athletes, and they are. Well, if you add the student athlete with it, it's a full-time job, between classes and being in the building and studying and lifting and everything that you got to do. But we've got some really good running backs. I'm excited. We've got Cam Dickey, who's a true sophomore, and Jacoby Williams, who's a true sophomore. The last time they were in a game together and they were the 1-2 punch, they rushed for 199 yards against Arkansas in the bowl game. So I feel really good. They're really talented. And then we got a redshirt freshman, a bigger back, 6'1", probably 235 pounds, Adam Hill. He'll come in and be able to help us on special teams, but also help us in that room when we need those guys to get a blow.
And last thing, new coordinators on both sides of the ball. When I flip the switch and go to defense, what does Sheil Wood bring to your defensive unit this year?
Yeah, I mean, I am so excited about the defense that we're going to play. Again, that was probably the biggest upgrade roster-wise whenever you look at those guys. But Shield does such a great job. He has he is so committed to what he does. He's, just steady through everything. I've loved how he's installed his defense. And then he's got some juice, man. He's got those guys playing really hard and running to the football. And we always talk about being an effort-based program, and he's going to bring a lot of effort on the defensive side of the ball.
One last thing that just popped into my mind. You were around Tyler Shuck, obviously, at Texas Tech. Now he's off to the NFL, and we'll see who wins that quarterback battle with the Saints. For people that don't know what he is, or like, okay, is this just a one-year experiment and the Saints will take someone in the first round next year? Health has been a big thing for him, and he needs to be healthy. But if he is healthy, do you see a guy that could be a very successful quarterback at the next level?
Yeah, I do. If you look, last year was the first year that he was fully healthy for an entire year, and he put up some really, really good numbers, and that's why I think New Orleans was so ready to draft him. The one thing with him, man, you're not going to outwork him. He's going to be the first one in the building. He's going to be the last one to leave. He is a gym rat when it comes to football. And, man, I wish him the best of luck. I have really care a lot about Tyler, and he was so good for us and ended it the right way, and so I'm rooting for him like crazy.
Well, Coach, good luck. I know there's high expectations with your program this year. Appreciate you previewing the season with us, and go get them started on Saturday. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Wreck 'em.